Hi, it's day 30, so we're officially one third of the way through. Today I had actually a good day insofar as studying Korean is concerned. I was able to put in about, I don't know, 4+ hours. A good portion of it was reading on my computer and a bit on my iPad while listening and sort of going ahead as I'm listening, going ahead to the yellow words that I've saved before and looking them up in case I didn't know what they meant, and just trying to kind of, you know, drill that language into me because I have so much trouble understanding when I listen. Um, and when I read, of course, I can slowly pick my way through it because I'm looking words up, and so I make sense of it all. But when I listen, I have trouble. So I want to do a lot of listening to content that I've worked over before, listening while reading. I want to just slowly get my brain used to this language. What strikes me today as I work through this is that, first of all, language learning, it takes a lot of work. People who talk about 3 months, whatever, from zero to fluent and stuff, it's unless it's a very similar language. It takes a lot of work for the simple reason that there are so many words to learn. I think that is the biggest problem. It's not so much the grammar. It takes a while to get used to the grammar, yes, but there are so many words to learn. If I look at my Korean, the number of words that I've learned, and yet the number of new words that crop up all the time, and as you come across them, and I save them and link, I sometimes wonder, like, how am I ever going to learn on all these words? There's just so many of them. But again, I know from experience that if I get enough exposure, that I will learn them. And because time is limited, I don't want to spend 2 hours going through flashcards. I will go through flashcards every now and again. If I have 15 minutes there, 20 minutes here, I'm waiting somewhere. But the 3-4 hours that I had today, I can't imagine spending 3-4 hours on flashcards. But 3-4 hours listening, reading again, listening again, getting that sense of the flow of the language. To me, that's a better place for me to spend my time. But still, the task is enormous. There are so many words to learn. Yet words are the key. And, if I think of the people who impress me as speakers of foreign languages, it's not people who pronounce like a native. To me, that's almost irrelevant. In fact, if you have too much of a native-like pronunciation and you don't have the words to back it up, it almost sounds strange. Whereas if I listen to someone like Thomas Bach, who is I think is the head of the International Olympic Committee. He replaced this fellow Rage, and he made 2 speeches in Sochi at the opening of the Olympic Games. He spoke in English and he spoke in French, and he was tremendously eloquent in both. And he used a lot of words, but you knew that he knew these words because he didn't read. He spoke, and he spoke very, very well. And yet he has an unmistakable German accent, and it doesn't matter. What matters is his control of words. So to me, the big challenge in language learning is words. Words and phrases if you want, because it's words and how they work with other words and which words belong together with other words. And for this particular shade of meaning, it's this word and not that word. And all of these things require a lot of exposure, a lot of practice. And it's the biggest task. And that's why to get to sort of advanced beginner, where you can say a few things, is almost the easy part of the journey. To get from there to where you are a very proficient user of the language is a long, long journey, primarily because of the words. And that's kind of the message today. It's a long task. I don't underestimate the amount of time and effort that's required for anyone. And the biggest hurdle is acquiring all the necessary words and developing that sense of context of when to use which words, and so on. And not only to use them, but to understand them, because as we know, we need to have an even broader range of passive vocabulary so that we can understand what people are saying. Words, that's the big burden. But the challenge, and to my mind, discovering a new word is fun. So it's, in a way, it's the charm. It's the treasure hunt of language learning.